Hello and welcome back to Manifold Mind. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories. When an entire space station goes silent because someone enters the room, you don't look. You especially don't stare. And you absolutely do not make eye contact. I tried. I really did. My name is Marcus Vale, civilian xenobiology analyst, assigned to Orbital Station Arender as part of the Interspecies Research Accord. My supervisor's last words before the diplomatic banquet were very clear. Whatever you do, Marcus, don't approach Her Majesty. Why? She drinks blood. Like metaphorically? No. Her Majesty was Queen Selene Vareth, sovereign of the Noctir Dominion, a species often nicknamed alien vampires by humans who preferred dramatic labels over scientific accuracy. Technically, they were hemivoric energy converters. Their biology required bioplasma derived from living blood. Still, close enough. The ballroom lights dimmed as she entered, tall, elegant, silver-black hair cascading over armor that shimmered like midnight glass. Her skin was pale with a faint crimson undertone, eyes glowing softly like dying stars. Conversations stopped. Even seasoned diplomats avoided her gaze. I focused intensely on my drink, which is why I didn't notice the chair beside me slide back until someone sat down. A cool presence brushed against my arm. I slowly turned. Queen Selene was sitting next to me. The entire banquet hall froze. She did not look at me immediately. She lifted a crystal goblet filled with dark red liquid. Not wine. Definitely not wine. "You are trembling," she said calmly. "I'm aware. You were instructed not to approach me. Yes. And yet you remained seated. You approached me." A faint flicker of amusement passed through her glowing eyes. Correct. Across the hall, 3 diplomats were visibly panicking. Selene studied me carefully. "You are Marcus Vale. That's concerning. You published a paper on Noctir hemiplasmic adaptation." My throat tightened. "You read that?" It was not entirely incorrect. That might have been the highest compliment I would ever receive. She leaned slightly closer. "You did not describe us as monsters. I described you as biologically misunderstood." A pause. Her gaze sharpened. "Do you fear me?" "Yes." "Good." I blinked. "You should," she added softly. The banquet resumed awkwardly. But now everyone was watching. Selene did not move away. Instead, she asked questions about Earth ecosystems, about human courtship rituals, about why humans insist on consuming caffeine despite its cardiovascular strain. "You consume blood," I countered carefully. "It sustains my species. So does coffee." Her lips curved faintly. "You are bold for prey. I'm not prey." Her eyes flashed brighter for a fraction of a second. "No," she murmured. "You are not." Something shifted in the air between us. Curiosity. Electric. Dangerous. Halfway through the banquet, the station alarm shrieked. Lights flickered red. An extremist anti-alien faction had infiltrated the lower decks. Explosives detonated beneath the council chamber. Screams erupted. Selene rose instantly, not frantic, predatory, controlled. Guards surrounded her. One blast tore through the upper balcony. A sniper's energy bolt cut through the air, aimed directly at her heart. I moved without thinking. I shoved her sideways. The bolt sliced across my shoulder instead. White-hot pain exploded through me. I collapsed. The world tilted. The last thing I saw before darkness crept in was her eyes turning fully crimson. Later reports would describe what happened next. Security footage captured only fragments. Celine moved like living shadow. The attackers were neutralized in seconds. Not slaughtered, disabled, efficient, terrifying. But when she returned to where I lay bleeding, the queen of the Noctir did something no one expected. She knelt, cradled my head, and bit her own wrist. Dark crimson blood shimmered with alien energy. She pressed it to my wound. Gasps echoed around us. Noctir blood was never shared with outsiders. It was sacred, intimate, binding. She didn't hesitate. I woke in the Royal Medical Wing. My shoulder no longer hurt. Actually, I felt stronger, sharper. The door slid open silently. Celine entered alone. No guards, no advisors. "You live," she said quietly. Disappointed? Her gaze flickered. "You interfered. You were about to be shot. I would have survived. Probably." She stepped closer. "My blood flows in you now." That felt significant. Is that bad? It creates resonance. Resonance? She placed her hand lightly over my healed shoulder. A pulse of warmth spread through me. Her eyes widened slightly. "You respond," I swallowed. "Is that also bad?" Her voice lowered. "It is rare. Noctir blood, when willingly given to save a life, could create a symbiotic bond. Not vampirism. Not transformation. Connection. Energy exchange. Emotional resonance. It was usually reserved for mates." The council was furious. "You cannot bind yourself to a human," one elder hissed. "I have," Celine replied calmly. "You weaken the crown. I strengthen it, because something unprecedented had occurred. My presence amplified her energy control. Her presence accelerated my healing. Together, our biosignatures stabilized in ways their science couldn't fully explain. She came to my quarters nightly, at first to monitor, then to talk. "You stepped between me and death," she said one evening. "You sat next to me first." Her lips curved again. "You do not regret it? Almost dying?" "Slightly. I meant sitting beside you." I met her glowing gaze. "No." Silence lingered, heavy, charged. Then she leaned in, cool lips brushing mine gently, testing. I didn't pull away. Neither did she. The announcement shook the galaxy. Queen Celine had chosen a human consort. Not for politics, not for alliance, because she wanted him. I moved into the Noctir Embassy Tower. It was dark, elegant, minimalist. She thrived in low light. I installed softer, human-friendly lighting in one wing. She tolerated it. Our bond deepened. Sometimes when she fed, ethically, from regulated donors, she would press her forehead to mine afterward. Energy would pulse between us. Not hunger, intimacy. "You are not prey," she whispered once. "What am I?" My chosen. Noctir reproduction was rare, extremely rare with other species, which is why the royal physicians were stunned. Celine stood at the window overlooking the stars when she told me, "There is new life within me." I froze. "You're serious?" "Yes." Her voice trembled slightly, the first time I'd ever heard uncertainty from her. I was not certain it was possible. I stepped behind her, wrapping my arms around her waist. "Guess we broke biology." Her hand covered mine over her abdomen. "Our child will be different. Good." She turned slightly. "You are not afraid?" Terrified, I admitted. But I'm not leaving. Her crimson eyes softened. Nor am I. The chamber glowed faintly red as Celine labored. Not-tier births were quiet, but intense, controlled surges of hemoplasmic energy. She gripped my hand tightly. You may complain, I told her softly. I am queen. You're also giving birth. A faint breath of laughter escaped her. When our daughter emerged, the room dimmed briefly as if the shadows bowed, tiny, perfect, pale skin with a soft silver undertone. Human heartbeat. Noctier eyes, glowing faint crimson. Celine held her carefully. She is strong, she whispered. I kissed Celine's temple gently. So are you. We named her Nixara. Orbital Station Arender no longer feared the Noctier queen. They respected her. Under Celine's reign, treaties flourished. Security improved. Blood donor programs became transparent and ethical. Peace strengthened. And in the private royal quarters, Nixara toddled unsteadily across dark marble floors, tiny fangs barely visible when she laughed. Celine, once feared across star systems, now crouched in regal robes coaxing her daughter toward her. Come to mother, I watched, leaning against the doorway. You realize she's going to terrify entire governments one day, I said. Celine glanced up at me, eyes warm instead of predatory. Yes. Nixara reached me first, grabbing my pant leg. Celine stood and joined us. Her hand slipped into mine. They said do not approach me, she murmured softly. You approached me, and I chose correctly. The station light shimmered beyond the glass. A vampire queen, a human who didn't run, a child born of shadow and heartbeat, and a love that began with a forbidden seat. This time, when rooms went silent as she entered, it wasn't from fear. It was from awe.